Hi, and welcome to the Questionable Botanist. I'm Frank McDonough, the Questionable Botanist, and I'm always highly questionable. In fact, I've been told I'm questionable at best. I answer plant questions here at the Los Angeles County Arboretum, not only plant questions, but general horticultural questions, questions about plant diseases and pests. And this show here is a recap of some of the best questions I've gotten during the day. Today is April 7th. It's a Thursday. And first thing I want to show you today is this little bugger right here. Take a look. That is a Burdekin plum. Plyogenum timorense, I do believe. Burdekin plum. It is a member of the same family that mangoes are in. And in fact, if you're allergic to mangoes, it's not a good idea to eat this, but it's a very tasty fruit. Now, the interesting thing about this fruit is it stays on the tree relatively hard. It doesn't ripen on the tree. In order to get it to ripen, you have to pick it, put it in a sweater box for a couple of days, and let it ripen. It gets nice and mushy and sweet. It's a perfect fruit for transportation. Another interesting thing about this fruit, it's got 10 times the antioxidants that blueberries have. So it's extremely high in antioxidants, doesn't taste half bad, and it ships well. Now, not only that, but the tree that this comes off of, the tree is about 25, 30 years old, produces anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 pounds of this fruit each time. And I've seen it go up to two fruitings per year. An amazing tree. What's really fascinating about this fruit, it has the potential to replace avocados here in Southern California as a fruit crop. Now, this particular variety or seedling or whatever it is, it isn't listed as a variety, it's listed just as a species. This particular variety is somewhat tasty, but apparently there are varieties they're working on in Australia that are much tastier. In fact, the Australian government is supporting the breeding of these things as a new crop. In fact, the Australian government is looking at a lot of Australian plants and funding research to bring a lot of Australian plants, native plants, to market. And the reason is a lot of these plants are very good for producing in Australia because they take the drought and they take the heat and the Australian conditions there. So it's also be a great plant here. If you ever get a chance, if you ever see these for sale, I don't think you will, not in the near future, pick them up. They're really tasty. Again, Burdekin plum. If you want to have some fun, look that up on the internet, Burdekin plum. Really some fascinating things outdoors today. This thing here, this is amazing. Check this out. This is a really large coast redwood that we have on the north side of Baldwin Lagoon. It's right by the Circle Road, the road that encircles Baldwin Lagoon and the historic section. It's on the north side there. And growing all up and down the tree I don't know if you can see that there. Growing all up and down the tree are wisteria blossoms. In fact, there's a wisteria vine growing up and down the entire tree, and the thing is loaded with wisteria blooms. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. There's the plant right there. And of course I know what this plant is, and so I gave it a call. This is a kalanchoe. Now you're probably used to the kalanchoes that you buy at Trader Joe's or at the florist. They're kind of succulent plants with yellow, pink, and red flowers. Well, this kalanchoe isn't growing for its flowers. This is Kalanchoe baharensis, and it's named the baharensis comes from Bahrain, which is one of the areas it's native to. It's native to the east coast of Africa, Madagascar, and parts of the Arabian Peninsula, especially Bahrain, I suppose. And it's a fairly large, almost arborescent plant. It gets to 4, 5, 6 feet tall, and it has these really interesting fuzzy leaves on it. That's it right there. Just a gorgeous plant. Another interesting plant that's out there. This is on the top of Talic Knoll. This is the yesterday, today, and tomorrow plant. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And it's in the same family as tomatoes. It's in the Solanum family. And the interesting thing about yesterday, today, and tomorrow is that it has a really nice smell to it. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You'll find this again at the top of Talic Knoll. And we have several of these in bloom around the Arboretum. These are Chionanthus retusus, that's the Chinese fringe tree, and these are loaded with these beautiful white blossoms. These trees look like they've had snow piled on them. Just gorgeous little trees. Right now a lot of them are in full bloom. Now be careful, if you're allergic, you have a lot of allergies, you might want to stay away from this tree. It's in the same family as olives, and it's just as allergenic. Produces a lot of pollen that's windborne. So you might want to stay away from that if you have allergies. And right here, this is in full bloom all across the Arboretum. This is the yellow trumpet tree, also called the gold trumpet tree, although it's more of a chromium yellow than anything else. Beautiful photographic subject if you're into photography. If you want to test the yellow sensors in your digital camera, this is the plant to do it with. You'll have a beautiful blue-black background from the sky because it's completely deciduous besides the flowers. In other words, it has no green leaves, just yellow flowers in the blue sky background. This is Tababuia chrysotricha, also known again as the gold or yellow trumpet tree. Tababuia chrysotricha. Well, that's it for today's Questionable Botanist. I'm Frank McDonough, and as always,